It was an exciting round of action in midweek. It gave us all the drama, all the fun, all the excitement that we needed. And we can truly say match day 29 was a blast. And as usual, we're looking at the best talking points after all the rounds action in midweek. Starting with you, Victor. Newcastle handed Manchester United and Max their first defeat of the year, despite having a red card for a good part of that game. In your opinion, do you think United have themselves to blame for that result?
I think it's a bit harsh to just put it all on Man United. I believe we should acknowledge how good Newcastle were, especially going down to 10 men, still playing with attacking intent for the most part of the second half. How getting his subs right. It's not like Newcastle won because of two own goals from Man United. Yes, absolutely. It's hard to take for Max and for Man United and for Man United fans. And maybe they should have done better, but we all know that sometimes it's actually harder to play against 10 men. Even though teams tend to go full defense in that scenario, Newcastle managed the game very well. They had mixed stretches of dominance with letting Man United have the ball and still came away with a great result.
Yeah, fair point. And over to you, Max. Your Pedro's hat-trick was a major highlight as Chelsea thrashed Aston Villa 4-1. Did you see that scoreline coming?
I mean, I obviously didn't because in our group I made the prediction that Villa is not going to lose this game, but you all see how it ended up. But obviously the game in, I'd say, first 40 minutes maybe, Villa looked a bit better. They scored the second goal. There was a little offside. Then the same went in Chelsea's way with the same offside lines that ended up being a goal. And in the second half, Chelsea was on the pitch, so I obviously didn't expect that, but it was kind of shocking to see Chelsea doing that great on the road, especially against big side.
Yeah, fair point. And back to you again, Victor. Arsenal maintained their title chart after beating Brighton via a narrow 1-0 lead. But the major talking point after that game came when Brighton boss Fabian Osula, he attacked Arsenal for trying to not play football and for making their own rules in the game. What do you make of those comments?
In part, I feel Hertzler does have an excellent point. The game was not enjoyable, like so many other Arsenal games this season. And I think Arteta are actually the biggest time wasters in the Prem when it comes to taking corners when they have the lead. I think it's something like 50 seconds on average in that scenario to take a corner kick. Naturally, there's also the reverse. All teams tend to waste time, and there is a lot of scrutiny on Arsenal and on Arteta because they are top of the table. It's natural, and it is all a bit too Mourinho-like, and not in a good way for my taste. But there is also quite a bit of envy from other managers and from other fans because of where Arsenal are. Now, don't get me wrong, Arteta will not be remembered in the same way as these big managers, big name managers when it's all said and done. Arsenal will probably win the title this year, which is something Mourinho, for instance, has also managed while playing defensively and whatnot. But there's such a difference in class. Mourinho won huge trophies straight away. Arteta needed more than half a decade. Mourinho is going to be remembered forever for stuff like 15 goals conceded in the whole season. Arteta is just mid. He's got a good coaching staff and a pretty darn good budget. Maybe a bit like Arne Slot in that sense. Still, Arsenal will win the Prem, but this is not a triumph that people are going to remember if they're not an Arsenal fan. Unless there's some collapse on City's part and Arteta wins the title by 20 points or something like that, nobody really is going to remember this.
I'm definitely going to remember, and millions of other people out there will all
If
definitely
you're an
remember.
Arsenal fan, of
And
course.
Marx will also remember that Arsenal won the league in the 2025 to 26 season. But yeah, at the end of the day, the main aim of every football game, in my opinion, is to win a game. How you do it doesn't really matter, especially if you've bottled 3 times in a row. But anyways, moving on and back to you, Max. West Ham battled out a 1-0 win against Fulham to claim crucial 3 points. How big are those 3 points in terms of their survival?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that I for some reason felt like West Ham are not going to lose this game. I just felt it in my head and it ended up being even a win. And in terms of surviving, I'm actually starting to be kind of scary about Spurs' potential this season because they still have a lot of good teams to play. And the ways West Ham and Forest playing at the moment, they are definitely better than Spurs. And we should everybody agree on that. So I feel like if West Ham keep the same momentum as for now and Tottenham play in the same way, They're probably fine.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. And on the final note for this video, Victor, 2 questions. First off, who could have predicted that Bournemouth and Brentford will play out to a goalless draw? And secondly, what is your opinion on why there are so many goalless draws this season? We already have more goalless draws than last season with 9 games to go.
Yeah, it's quite a surprise that the 0-0 draw between Bournemouth and Brentford, and it wasn't for lack of trying, especially in Bournemouth's case. I wasn't exactly expecting a goal fest, but certainly not a blank draw. As for all the 0-0s, a lot of teams play for set pieces and for attacking throw-ins these days, which far more often than not are not converted. Personally, I'm still very much enjoying the Premier League. The tempo and commitment are still good from all teams, but a few more goals would definitely be welcome.
Yeah, fair point. And we still have a lot of games to discuss, but we'll have to do that in another video because we've still got more talking points from match day 29. So stay tuned so you don't miss out on all the action.